Welcome to the latest episode of Inside the Vault, Enterprise Bank's podcast series where we talk about items of interest to the small business community. Today, we're going to focus on one of the relationships that Enterprise Bank has with our affiliated companies. Specifically, we're going to be talking today to Jennifer Butler and Gary Safransky from the Property Closers, which is Enterprise Bank's title insurance subsidiary, which, folks, is coming up on our 5th anniversary. Okay. So, Jenny, Gary, welcome.
Thank you.
To Inside the Vault. So let's talk about who you folks are, first off. Okay. You want to introduce yourselves? Jennifer Butler, lovingly referred to around here as Jenny B. Give us a little bit of your background, Jenny.
Okay. So yes, this is our 5th birthday coming up here, which is really exciting. I came to this position in March of 2018. That would make sense, yeah. Right? Yeah. And then we were kind of fully up and running and on the residential side that June. So traditionally, as we all know, Enterprise Bank is a commercial bank. So they had an insurance subsidiary set up at the time and ran all of their commercial transactions through that subsidiary. And then in bringing me in, we were to kind of kick off the residential piece and bring it all together as a full-service title and closing company. So I came in with one employee. We got things started, and very quickly I started to target an old partner of mine in sales to run the sales team. So that's how Gary Safransky came on board. When did you come in?
October of 19.
19. So it was almost a full year after.
Yeah. About a year and a half.
Yeah, a year and a half.
But it's worked out well.
Yeah.
I've always had a lot of respect for Jen, and our friendship has grown over the years.
So what's the combined experience level in title insurance and settlement for the two of you?
Oh my gosh. Well, I think I'm at 21 years, almost 22.
Probably combined 35.
Yeah.
30,
Wow.
35.
Yeah.
Wow.
So.
And it's not just the two of you at this point, right? You've got some other staff members. Give us a little insight on the team.
Yeah, we've built a really nice team down there. I say downstairs because we've talked before on Inside the Vault about this beautiful space we have, which maybe we'll talk a little bit more about how this is really all coming together. It's the beauty of Enterprise Bank is just all of the different subsidiaries and spaces coming together to really form this synergy that really builds business and relationships so well. What did you ask me?
Your other team members.
See how I get talking? I get all excited. We've built a really great team downstairs. We have a processing staff. We have a sales team. Marlo, Arnold in particular. I tried to really pull from the industry people that I had a lot of respect for, had a lot of years under their belt, had pretty much seen it all, because that is the interesting part of our business, right, Gare? Right. Every transaction is different. This is not a routine thing. I mean, you better have 10, 15 years under your belt for the stuff that kind of gets thrown at you in a transaction, and that's Marlo. So she'll be laughing the whole time, but believe me, when she hangs up the phone, it's like crazy. But she really is very smart. She's been in this business a long time, and she's helped us recruit the other processors. That's built a really nice team down there.
Cool.
Jen and I have a lot of contacts in the industry.
Yeah.
Another guy that we brought on board was Dennis O'Neill, and I've known him for a while, and then got him hooked up with Jen and Marlo, and he brings a tremendous amount of experience to the table as well. So it's kind of like through our contacts, we've organically built the staff that we have.
Right.
Yeah, we have. Because this industry is, I mean, there's a lot of people that have had some longevity in this industry, and those relationships have been built between the real estate side of things, the lender side of things, on the residential side especially, and then the title side of things. And once you've kind of built those little pockets that have worked together for a long time, I mean, a residential real estate transaction is bumpy, and it's very emotional, we always say. So if you have players that really work well together, it just creates I'll never say seamless experience. There's always going to be a headache, but a really well-working team that backs the buyers and the sellers up into the closing table.
Yeah, and you all are kind of uniquely positioned, obviously being part of the Enterprise Bank family.
Yeah.
We're commercial at our core, small business oriented at our core, and you guys are kind of uniquely positioned because you get involved in both aspects, the residential title world and in the commercial title world, which
Yep.
I'm guessing that's where that experience really helps. Because,
yeah.
Being a small business lender myself, every commercial deal is different.
Oh my gosh, so much. And Gary and I have a lot of conversations, even this week, just talking about, number one, how lucky we are. I mean, when I came in here, this is a dream to have built-in commercial business. Residential title companies might handle a handful of commercial deals a year, and they're big ticket deals. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's coveted. So to walk in here and we're handling, 3, 5, 8 commercial transactions a month, our knowledge level has gone up exponentially just from the type of things that we're seeing constantly. And then, early on, I had told Gary that one of my concerns coming on board was that I was affiliated with a bank. In our world, if you walk in and you say there's a bank behind you, you feel like you're blackballed by a lender to do business with them. But we strategically renamed the company, very transparent here, the Property Closers, so that wasn't the case. We could have the conversation with the lenders that we were going after for some business and let them know that this is really an opportunity. I mean, first of all, we're not a competitor because we're a commercial bank here at Enterprise.
Yeah, we don't do any
We don't
home
do any
mortgage lending
residential.
here anyway.
If
Yeah.
anything, we're looking for residential lenders
Right.
to outsource
We
some
refer
of that
that some
business
of-
so we
yep.
can refer out. It is such a perfect scenario, and Gary and I have benefited, don't you think, Gary, so much from this?
What I see, honestly, from my standpoint, it's kind of like we built a one-stop shop, meaning that the residential contacts are great. There's been more than a couple of mortgage brokers that we've come in contact with that are looking for a commercial lender, and we've been able to refer those clients on to Enterprise.
And we greatly appreciate that on the
You know,
banking side.
So from
Yeah.
my standpoint, I've been asked, geez, if I could just find a good commercial lender. I've been asked that question a half a dozen times, and I've been able to refer those clients on to, the commercial section, and everything has gone far exceeding the expectations, where now they've become used to dealing with Enterprise, not only from a title insurance standpoint, but now this is their go-to for commercial lending. So the synergy is really impressive, and how we're able to move, and all be under the same banner.
Right. So for our listeners, let's talk about what you guys do for a minute.
Yeah.
So, and let's talk about, rather than get in the nitty gritty of title insurance, which is
'Cause it's
quite
so
honestly,
exciting.
folks, is not the
Sure you
most
don't wanna talk
exciting
about title,
topic.
Nick?
Right.
But tell us a little bit about the services you provide, and most importantly, what the importance of what you guys do is to the integrity of a real estate transaction.
Sure. You want me to jump off on that to start? You jump in. So it's interesting because in the residential world, and even prior to me getting into this business all those years ago, most people who are buying and selling a home don't even know that they need title insurance and closing services. Of course, lots of the real estate companies and banks have their own sort of affiliated company, just like we have going on here. But in Pennsylvania, and every state is completely different, Pennsylvanians are able to, it's their right to choose their own title company as the buyer. So the buyer is driving that transaction. And the reason for that Pennsylvania feels that is important for it to go that way is because when you're purchasing a property, anything that's a lien or an encumbrance on a property, you're taking with you when you gain, ownership of that property. So here's why it's so important. What we do is so important. A title company is going to, do these searches within the courts and find out, is there any outstanding mortgages on the property? Is there any outstanding liens on the property, whether it's utilities or anything you can think of, mechanics liens for work that hasn't been paid for over the years. Our job is to get a full report of that from the courts and then basically clean all that up. So we go to the seller and we say, you owe this mortgage. We collect that money. We pay off that mortgage. Anything that's outstanding like that, it's our job to take care of. And then once all of that is cleaned up, we are able to look at the buyer and say, this property is being transferred to you. We don't use the term free and clear ever, but that's what the insurance part of it is for. So now you have a policy, and there's a really big difference between title insurance and basically any other type of insurance. And the easiest way to describe it is other insurances take care of things that have happened in the past. Title insurance is taking care and protecting you from things that may come up in the future. So you buy this house, you close on it, you move in, and all of a sudden you get a letter a year and a half later that says you owe a mortgage on the property. Well, let's face it, sometimes things aren't recorded properly or taken care of if they can't find it in the courts. But now you're protected with that policy. So because we said, through the policy that you're covered, everything is taken care of, that is what's covering you in the future for anything that may pop up. So it is very, very important that you have it. If you're using a lender and you're obtaining financing, it's not your choice anyway. The lender's going to require you to have title insurance.
Exactly.
But then you have the choice for usually a few $100s more to have an owner's policy, which protects you even further. So that's really how title insurance is different than car insurance or homeowners insurance and all that kind of
Well,
stuff.
the other unique thing I always found about title insurance is the premiums.
Yeah.
For your car insurance, your home insurance,
Really
you go
good point.
shop around, and everybody's got a different price, and you have to price shop all the time. The nice thing about title, at least in the state of Pennsylvania, is those premiums are established by the state. So it's really about getting the best service. It's not a price shopping type scenario.
Right. And, every company has our, small fees, just our TPC fees, which are really small, the closing fee for us to send somebody out to close it. But you're right, everything's promulgated by the state. You can look at a rate chart as a buyer or seller and know exactly what that percentage is going to be of the sales price. And along with that, you pay it once. This isn't a monthly fee that you're paying every month like your car insurance. You pay this once at the time of closing, and you're done. And that's the end of it.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, doesn't seem important until you don't have it. And there's obviously, even in our lending at the bank, we've had horror stories, years later about either properties that title insurance wasn't obtained or wasn't obtained properly.
Right.
And there's big claims that somebody has to pay for, and the current owner is usually the one burdened with that if they haven't mitigated their risk with insurance.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Well, and you're right. You don't realize how important it is until you need it.
right.
And for 99% of the people, this is by far and away their biggest investment.
Right.
So it's important to protect those interests, for sure.
And the nice thing, too, from a financing perspective is usually not in all cases, but in most circumstances, there's financing going along with the title insurance. And that typically those premiums are rolled into the financing. So it's not a huge upfront out-of-pocket burden for most buyers or owners that are refinancing.
Exactly.
So what's happened in 5 years? We've obviously grown the subsidiary.
Yes, we have. Well, in 5 years, we had COVID right in the middle of it. So, when you talk about a new business, which truly this was a bit of a startup when you really look at it. Although it was an established company, Dave, it was really only handling a handful of transactions a month commercially within the bank.
Right.
So this was the first time, and that's why I brought Gary in, we were going out and seeking outside business to bring in. And how many companies really, are truly successful and profitable in the first couple of years? It's rare.
Right.
And we had some real challenges. We just started to kind of kick things off and get things rolling, right, Gary?
That's when COVID happened.
And COVID hit. And everybody has their, talk about how it affected their business. Honestly, though, we boomed the year of COVID because
did.
everybody refinanced.
That was our best year.
So we had our best year ever, which is an interesting topic for people to know. Everybody took advantage of the rates and, wanted to make moves. So our refinance business, we were underwater. We struggled. And we were just very transparent about that. We called some of our best clients. Remember, Gare?
Exactly.
And we were like, hey, listen, maybe just back off a little bit. Spread your business around a little bit. We want to make sure we're providing great service. I think that's the best thing you can do to do right by your clients when you're in that situation. We went from doing, so many, we tripled our business in a month. And you're not staffed for that. And you can't hire during COVID. Nobody wants to come to you. So it was a very challenging year, but our most profitable year ever.
Right.
And then, we've had our ups and downs, but we really kind of landed, I think, on our feet in the last year, where we feel like our team is really solid. As you said, Gary, we really sought these people out rather than just, hiring for a resume. We really wanted people that we knew had a lot of integrity, really aligned with the culture of the bank, which is so important to Chuck and everybody on board, and just understood what this culture was. So,
And unfortunately, now that your team's established and things are rocking and rolling, we have this interest rate environment, which isn't just affecting you all in the real estate market, it's
Sure.
affecting the bank.
Yes,
Because
absolutely.
obviously it's a lot more expensive to
Right.
borrow money right now.
It's a challenging market with rates and low inventory.
Right.
Right.
Those two factors, it's challenging. We appreciate Enterprise Bank so much and their stability throughout all of this, because it's challenging, but it's opportunities. So we're going to grow from it. But with Normie in the past, if the inventory was low, well, then you still had refinance business because rates were good.
Right.
If you didn't have refinance business, well, the inventory was there. Now you don't have either one of those to
Right.
rely on. So it is. The strong will survive, though. We're going to be fine.
Yeah.
And that's why we sought you out. Gary's just a great relationship person, which aligns
Right.
with the bank again. So our relationships have just steadily carried through. And then when things turn again, which they always do at some point,
Right.
you're in the position to really, be successful.
Well, give you guys an opportunity for a little sales pitch here. So, considering the market overall for your types of services is a little constrained right now by the interest rate in the real estate supply. But what are the we talked about the experience, but what are the other advantages of property closers and the way you guys are set up?
Yeah. Honestly, again, I think, and it's great that we're on Inside the Vault because it's our relationship with Enterprise Bank. It has provided us things that other title companies will never have. Number one, we're a bank. All of our wires are in-house. When you think about issues that come up, it's because you're dealing with this bank and that bank and you're chasing down wires or checks on the day of closing. Everything's right there. We have an issue. I just tiptoe next door and I talk to the ladies over there and I say, hey, Susie. That's huge, in-house. We just have this beautiful facility. So from a closing standpoint, of course, we're always sending our best closing agents out into the field. We'll meet you wherever you want to close. And we really do leave that up to our people. But having this facility where you can do a closing in a beautiful glassed-in conference room, come out and there's an entertainment space where you can have a glass of champagne, talk. It's great for our clients. It's great for our buyers and sellers. It's great for our relationship building. So for our clients, we really have something nobody else has. I mean, we're sitting in this podcast studio. This is ours.
Yeah.
We have this state-of-the-art podcast studio. So when you're trying to have a voice in this industry at a time that's this competitive, from a client standpoint, we have the best of the best. You can come in here and talk about, your expertise and how you stand out in this industry.
I think people that work with us see the stability. Without going into too many details, I mean, there's been title companies recently that have closed their doors or laid off. I think whenever we're out on the streets calling on clients, whether it be realtors, whether it be mortgage lenders, they see that relationship with Enterprise Bank. They appreciate that stability because they know we're going to be around. So it puts their mind at ease. They know that they can bring their buyers to us, and it's not like they're going to be a padlock on the door tomorrow because we can't stay in business.
Right.
They see that stability. They know of the backing that we have, and it's a good relationship for everybody.
It's invaluable.
Yeah. So you guys are doing some community good too, I understand.
Yes.
So tell us about the project that the property closers and the bank are working on from a community investment perspective.
Oh my gosh. I mean, you want to talk about being set apart. We have been so lucky to come into this project. Years ago, I had a program called Home is Where the Heart Is, and I was just aligning with different organizations that we could financially help. And I always thought, well, I hope this gets bigger someday. Now I'm here, and this opportunity presented itself just because Chuck Lai has a huge heart, wants this bank to be so affiliated with the community. So, in short, basically, we're going to take, and hopefully this happens yearly, but right now, we have a home that we are donating to a single mother and her children. And it came together so beautifully because I was starting to align with Hearth, which is an organization right in our backyard that has transitional housing for, again, single mothers and families. You have to be a single mom. You have to have children to come through their program. Take advantage of their services and their housing until you're on your feet and you're back out there again. But we're taking one family each year, hopefully, and putting them in a home with no mortgage. So, and the premise of this program is that the youngest child, when they turn 18, that house will full equity be given to this mother. So it's an opportunity, as Harth has said, for a family to build wealth when they're at that point in their life when they have nothing, you know? So we have gone out, we've taken our team, we've painted the house. Enterprise is so great and again, so different because we have the construction crew, the Build
Right.
On Us guys who have taken this property. You haven't seen it yet, Gary. I can't wait for you to get out
Yeah.
there. But we went in and we painted, it's carpeted. We have found the mom and 3 children that are going to be occupying this house. We should be closing by the end of this month. So basically, the bank is donating this home. The property closers is taking care of all of the other services to prep it,
Right.
close it, you know, do all of the things that we do every day. And it's so special. We're
That's
just
really
super
cool.
excited. Yeah.
That's really cool. And hopefully the first of many of these types of
Yes,
projects.
that's the plan. That
going
is the
forward.
plan.
Really neat.
Yeah.
So before we wrap up, I want to give our listeners a sense for who the people are behind the business.
Yeah.
So I understand, Gary, one of your passions is one of my passions. You like to fish, right?
I heard the same.
Everybody knows you guys like to fish. I think I'm out. That's the
Yeah,
end.
we're actually going this weekend. My son and myself. We go up to Chautauqua Lake
Yeah.
in New York and fish for crappie and muskie. So yeah, we go out often. He's
Yeah.
he's my number one fishing buddy. Lots of number 2s, but he's my.
How's
number
your
one.
older- how's your-
He's 16, going to be 17. So
Real similar. Mine just turned 15, and he's my best fishing buddy, and
Oh, yeah.
better fisherman than I am.
well, and he does. Evan often outfishes me,
Yeah.
and he's not afraid to let me know that.
Cool.
But yeah, we do. It's like we fall into our old routine, and we can't wait to get away.
Right,
honestly.
right. What other hobbies you have? What else you like?
I love my puppy.
Yeah.
I got a black lab.
Cool.
Oh, he loves this dog. And she loves him.
And my wife will say, what's funny is whenever you leave the house and it's me, it's just like a real quick goodbye. And when you leave
Right.
the house and it's Dakota, you got to go up and hug her. And
Right.
it's we go up to Moraine State Park a lot and we hike and we do different things. So I love
Neat.
the outdoors, and anything
Yeah.
outdoors we're up for.
A man after my own heart.
Yeah.
Jenny B, what about you? I mean, I know most of your life's tied up in kids sporting events from what I see on
gosh.
Facebook.
Yes, I'm not home that much. I'm actually filling in my swimming pool
Really?
because we're not there. I mean,
Yeah.
they were in that pool twice last year. So all I want to do is cook. You guys fish. We talk. He'll go fishing. He'll be like, Jen, I got walleye. All I want to do is be in the kitchen. This is my whole life. So you know what I'm doing down there? That pool's being filled in. And someday, when I get to it here, I want the pizza oven and the pergola. And all I want to do is cook.
Neat.
Yeah.
Neat.
So can we put a kitchen in here too? I mean, we have a kitchen, but not my kind of kitchen.
Cool stuff. So, how can our listeners that are involved in a real estate transaction, how do they get in touch with the property closers? How do they find out what property closers is up to?
Yeah. So again, because in Pennsylvania, you can choose your own title company.
Yeah.
Typically, you're probably finding maybe your lender first. People are getting a pre-approval. They're finding their realtor, and they start to shop. You can find us at propertycloserspgh.com. We do have a section of the website where you can get a quote. So we will put that together based on your sales price, what township the home might be in, those
County
types of factors.
for
Yeah.
recording.
All of these things, because those are all different fees and so forth. But we can give you a really comprehensive look at what those fees are. You can incorporate them into your lender costs, and which the lender pretty much knows because, again,
Right.
because it's, state mandated. But that's how you find us, propertycloserspgh.com. We have a great team. And we're the type, though, that if you call us, you can call my cell phone. You can find me easily. I'm on every Facebook page. I've had the same cell phone number for 25 years. It's not something I'm hiding. We just have conversations with people to help them walk through,
I think whether they can use us or in certain situations where they can't. I
Right.
think just honesty and communicate to them, and if we can help you, we'd love to work with you. If we can't, well, then we'll let you know early in the
steer.
game.
We have the same philosophy at the bank. I mean, I'm a big believer in what goes around comes around. And
Exactly.
even if there's not an immediate transaction for the bank, or in your case, property closers, just being, with all the experience you all have and we all have, just being a resource for people is important.
Just
Even
a sounding
if,
board. And good always has come for that. So I think that is part of the longevity that we'll have.
Well, thank you both.
Thank you,
for
Dave.
giving us an
Thanks,
update.
Dave.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you. That's so exciting.
Yeah, 5 years for you all.
We are going to
Coming
have a
up-
party soon here.
Okay.
We don't know
All right.
exactly when because there's still furniture coming in and all of these things, but we'll be announcing that soon so we can celebrate.
Yeah, and we can celebrate that and the bank's 25th anniversary
it's
coming up
special.
here in the fall.
Yep.
So, again, appreciate the time and
Thank
the
you.
insight. For those of you that have any questions or ideas for future episodes, you can contact us here at the bank at Inside the Vault at enterprisebankpgh.com. And you can check us out on all the major podcast platforms and in video format on YouTube. Thank you very much.